All right, B-55 was actually the very first beat I ever did. I couldn't even tell you when I did it. Uh, when looking back at it, it's kind of funny because the way I even arranged it was kind of strange because there's like a lot of basic things that I didn't really do it at the time that I always do now. Like I made a template, and the template has a reverb, a chorus flanger, and a delay and a compressor, all put on the auxiliary returns. But I don't even use any of them. So I would put stuff in there that I didn't even really use, and then there'd be little things like for the tracks, I didn't even have a track for the actual mixer itself to do any automating or anything like that. So this was, really early on. I didn't even know what I was doing at all. I was just still trying to learn the software. The other thing that I did was I got the first thing I was attracted to was the redrum because I wanted to pull in samples and trigger them. But I went with an abstract drum kit to get my drum pattern, and I used the step sequencer, and I pretty much used it at a resolution of 16 with 16 steps. So this is basically a bar. So that's where he put a sound there. That's where it's gonna trigger. Well, I do like funny stuff like there's my snares. If you look at the pattern for the snares, I have it on the 4 and the 12, and normally you have it on the 2 and the 3, which is basically the 5 and the 13. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it starts over 1, 2, 3, 4. And I normally have the kick on the 2 and the 4, so it'd be like 1, 2. But here, I didn't even, what I mean, I don't even know why I had it here, 4 and 12. When you run it, it loops up okay because it is a equal amount from one another in the exact same spots. But till this day, I don't know how I arranged it this way. Used all synths and stuff. Sampled some vocal snippets. Again, the angle where I come from when it comes to making beats is I just like referencing things that I remember and making beats out of stuff that people normally wouldn't make beats out of, like sampling Conan or sampling RoboCop or sampling, some anime or whatever. Just pulling stuff from weird spots that you recognize to try and make a beat out of. And so for this particular one, I sampled a bunch of, or found samples for In Living Color. And so I don't know what made me decide to do something with that, but this was the sample.
All right, you little stud. Come on! Shoot the best shot, mister! 5 years of Taekwondo, baby! Come on!
So, everybody wants to battle, beat battles, whatever. So I thought having like a war cry like that would be, talking about battling, but at the same time, it's In Living Color. It's David Allen Greer, so you can't take me too seriously. So that's kind of why I think I went with that. And then, without really knowing anything, going in and trying to play compositions and stuff like that. And so this was the composition I ended up putting together. Just digging through, finding the synth, put the synth in, put some bass lines in there, and then just took a particular sample.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
Just had that going over and over again. So this is what it sounded like. That's how that went. Very first beat I ever did. Then, after I started learning a little bit more, I went back later, took the same arrangement, and then you see I started doing stuff like I finally put in a track to control the mixer. Started looking at things like using the delay that I have here on Auxiliary 2. Programming the beat, the beat is still weird, so. No, it's not. See, I changed to doing what I normally do by putting the beat on the 2 and the 4. So here, before it was here, but now I got it there. So it's arranged a little bit more to how. Putting some, using the send effect, send to, which is the delay, putting a delay on things like the hats. Use the same synth, but just change the arrangement. Change the bass up a little bit using the same samples. And this is how this one came out. It's more for post this up more for nostalgic reasons. You know, some of the beats that aren't that good, you really shouldn't post them up. But I post all of them up just because it just shows the progression. You know, trying to build with heads that are also trying to learn how to use some of the stuff. You know, some of the software, just dive into the craft of making music or whatever. So I don't hold back, put anything up. You know, unless it's just complete hot garbage, I won't put it up. But if it's really bad, I usually won't keep working on it. But the 55 was my favorite because that was the very first beat that I ever did, period. And I would like to think I got a lot better since then. So anyway, you can download the kit even though there's really not much to it because it's all synths and stuff. The recent files will be in there if you want to play with them. Those funny unlimited color vocal snippets and stuff will be in there. So download it, flip it up, do something with it or not. Let's move on to 56, man. I'm in this red.com.